Hi, I'm Anna Gasteyer, and I'm here to answer your questions at Broadway.com. Fiona, being married to John Glover is incredibly fulfilling, incredibly unpredictable, and very satisfying, because in an evening we get to have complete marital blowout to a complete sense of peace and resurrection and future together. John Glover keeps me on my toes. I'm actually one of the squarest people in the world to have played that role, only because I stay away from the wacky tobacco because it just makes me too crazy and unpredictable and not very fun to be around. So mostly I tried to do the long-suffering part of her more than the stoned part. I loved all the characters that I created on SNL. The most fun, absolutely, in terms of getting to know the character over time, would be a toss-up between the singing music teachers with Will Ferrell and the NPR ladies with Molly Shannon. Although I also loved doing Cinder Calhoun, who was a folk singer character I did sometimes on the news, and pretty much as long as I was involved in the making of it, it was incredibly fun. And actually sometimes even not. Somebody else wrote Celine Dion for me. But probably the sort of weekly satisfaction came the most from Bobby and Marty, mostly because the process was so fun. The writer that we worked with, Paula Pell, is a genius, and Will is a genius, and so it was just an ongoing, long evening of procrastination and good humor. Usually not about the sketch, but just having a fun time creating it. So it was a good time whenever we did it. I'm gonna say that Bobby Mohan Culp's favorite musical would be either Godspell or really anything current. She'd be a big fan of Lizzie Borden right now, I feel. She likes anything that really, challenges the youth culture. And certainly she would sing anything. I'm gonna say she probably would love to sing, either any of Eulalie's songs from Music Man or any of Jesus' songs from Jesus Christ Superstar. You know what, I have to say one of the great things about the number Defying Gravity in Wicked is that it's such a piece of musical acting, and the song is written to take the story where it goes and to take the audience where it needs to go before the first act. So it's funny, whenever I was in rehearsal and I would go up in the levitator, I would be terrified and very conscious of the levitator, and it's a very sort of thin little piece of metal, and you're very hyper aware that you're floating in space. But once you get into that costume and once you get under the lights and you get into the storytelling aspect of Wicked, it actually really does feel as though the music is lifting you off the ground. And I was never ever aware, and I'm a person who's terribly afraid of heights, I was never really aware that I was flying. It was utterly liberating in terms of getting up there and having the orchestra underneath you and the ensemble underneath you and the sense of exultation that happens in that song. Leslie, the royal family is entirely about being a mom with children, and so I'm really enjoying the story of the play that I'm a part of right now. I basically don't do anything except for being a mom or go to work. I'm not a very nice wife, and I'm a very bad friend, is the answer. I really love old-fashioned cast albums. I listen to South Pacific a lot, the original recording, and I listen to Oklahoma a lot. Sort of the old, just beautiful old, almost like background music. And I listen to, of recent days, I probably play Spring Awakening the most in terms of a kind of hangout, dinner party kind of album. And yeah, I'm trying to think of what has the highest rotation in my house. West Side Story, of course. Any recording of West Side Story has a very listenable, easy quality to it. I don't keep in touch with Lindsay Lohan because I'm a mom, and I don't get out very much. Really fun working with her, really talented young actress, and I definitely treated her like I was her mother because I was playing her mother, and she seemed to need bossing around. Pretty much my lifelong nickname is Anna Banana. It doesn't seem to matter, you know, where I am and what phase, or in terms of, you know, career success or familiarity. Pretty much everybody calls me Anna Banana. So I'm sure that's what I'd be saying. Anna Banana, 10-4 to you, good buddy, coming down the long one. I have so many different favorite singers. I don't think that I would ever be able to name one. My favorite type of music to listen to tends to be female vocals. I play a lot of Nina Simone, and I play a lot of Ava Cassidy, and I play a lot of, I'm trying to think, folk, sort of on the folkier, jazzier end of things. I've been listening to a lot of Madeleine Peru lately, and just sort of, and yeah, just kind of easy, folky ladies who sing. Melanie, first of all, I hope your parents are okay with you playing May in Reefer Madness at your high school. I would say the best way to go with May is to keep her optimistic. She's got a pretty bad life, but I think the comedy in her lies entirely in her sense of hope and her sense of the positive spin on everything, which I think kind of keeps her, you know, functioning, what with her jerk of a boyfriend and all. Nick, thank you so much for that. Yes, I have considered doing an album, but I'm too lazy to figure out how to do it. I have done cabaret. I have a cabaret act called Let It Rip, and I'm actually writing a new show for a Broadway diva character who's going to be doing entirely Broadway-oriented music, original music. So I have to say, again, I mean, if I were to be a person that people didn't laugh at for a living, I would go the Ava Cassidy route and probably rework old standards. And I'm kind of old-fashioned in a strange way, so finding a way to bring, you know, folk classics into the contemporary sound. I did Bird on a Wire, a Leonard Cohen song in my act. It was probably my favorite song that I did at that time. So if I do it, you gotta buy it, please. Well, Peter, I think it depends. It's such a massive machine. It's been there 35 years, and I think it's impossible to characterize the show as a whole. When I was there, it certainly was a ladies' club, and Will Ferrell was part of that club. So I feel really lucky that I was part of that, the big sisters' night out. No, I do my Celine Dion impression by going around in the world most of the time acting like Celine Dion. I know you can't probably hear my accent right now, but I've been working on it. I don't play practical jokes on people. I don't set them up because I'm really remarkably conservative about being surprised. Like, I hate being scared and stuff like that. My husband does it to me constantly and thinks it's hilarious. But I do enjoy challenges. Like recently, Jan Maxwell, this is incredibly unprofessional to admit that we do this during previews, but Jan Maxwell asked me to wink a lot as my character, because my character would. So I snuck that in a couple places just for her benefit. Things like that are fun to do. Green. Evian. An embarrassment of riches. Bratwurst. Ooh, I mean, that's just, what about plays with music, huh? You know, look, here's the deal. Clearly, Liza is a celebrated icon. Absolutely deserved that, but it's really too bad that Will could not have won for what I really did believe was a fantastic show. His acceptance speech probably would have been either as James Lipton or George Bush, so it probably would have been satisfying television, but I also just think he's a super, super talent. Besides being a super person, I thought it was a fantastic show and enormously stage-worthy. And not just a silly lark, really moving and really fulfilling to watch. I do. I watch it after I return home from the theater. On the boards, Tony. I'd like to see myself on the boards. People at the stage door do feel free to really share a lot of feelings and thoughts on my appearance, which I always find a little daunting. Usually nice things, but also a lot of wig feedback, although I suppose I set myself up for that, what with my passion for wigs. And recently somebody told me that I was a real hoot in Wicked, which wasn't quite the goal, but what the heck? I mean, I guess there's worse things to be than a hoot. Thank you for your questions. It was really fun answering them. I hope it was satisfying to hear the answers. And I really hope that you come see The Royal Family on Broadway at the Friedman Theater, Tuesday through Sunday. I will be there. I'm wearing a really good wig, and it's a really fantastic ensemble from whom I'm learning daily. So please come and enjoy the play. For theater folk everywhere.